A WWE superstar has been removed from the active roster. We're going to talk about that plus so much more. You're not going to want to miss it. It's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. Yes. Welcome back to TAS, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, we are live Monday through Friday on this channel at 12 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, pay-per-views, predictions, fantasy booking, so much other stuff that's happening in the live chat. I want to see you guys there. Make sure you guys tune in. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. WWE has some big plans for Bad Blood, and for months and months and months, I have been speculating that this would all culminate in a best-of-3 series, a trilogy of some sorts. Now it has been revealed by WrestleVotes that WWE does have plans for CM Punk and Drew McIntyre to compete in a Hell in a Cell match and the main event for WWE Bad Blood, and it's potentially going to be announced tonight on WWE Raw. This is a very, very cool thing in my opinion. I feel like this match needs to happen. I think Hell in a Cell needs to happen. And months ago, I even predicted that they would use the Hell in a Cell match as a way for Drew McIntyre to go over CM Punk in the match. And the way that they would do that is by having Seth Rollins return in that match to cost CM Punk the match. And that way they can start feuding and going forward with that. And guys, look, I don't know if that prediction will come true, but I just feel like it's so realistic. I've been talking about that for months. I feel like it's very possible, and quite honestly, I think WWE would be incredibly smart for that. I think CM Punk and Seth Rollins is going to be a massive feud, and just like this CM Punk and Drew McIntyre feud, I think that feud is going to be even bigger. I think that feud is going to be groundbreaking for a lot of reasons, but it also keeps CM Punk away from Gunther, which is a potential matchup that could be happening in the near future. I think there's just so many more benefits for WWE doing it this way, because Drew McIntyre hasn't been winning a lot, and obviously he won and then he lost. This would make the most sense. It helps him definitely far more, but it even helps CM Punk because there's a justification as to why he loses. This is a massive match. That's what you want to do for Bad Blood. Screw the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views. Use the gimmick for a pay-per-view where it's necessary. This is one of those examples of where it's necessary. WWE may have a return on their hands tonight. We're talking about Natalya. There appears to be tons and tons of news surrounding Natalya. We know that Natalya re-signed with the WWE, but then she was taken off television. Nobody knew what the hell was happening. WWE is going to be in Calgary. PWInsider.com has now reported that Natalya is in fact in town and expected to make her return on the show. Natalya is slated to be the mystery partner for the women's trios bout with Zelina Vega and Lyra Valkyria. This is really good, man. This is good stuff. Not only did Natalya re-sign with the company, but now she's going to actually be used on television. And look, I think this is one of those really cool things that WWE should, they should be utilizing their women's roster a lot better. They should be re-signing the talent. Natalya is a hell of a talent. I like the stuff that she was doing in NXT. I want to mention this too. Bret Hart's going to be there. Natalya is going to be there. WWE's got some big plans for tonight's Raw. But I want to see more from Natalya. I feel like Natalya has been the veteran that kind of gets stepped on in the process. And quite frankly, I don't like that. I think WWE, it's okay to use veterans, but at some point you got to, freshen up the matchups, and there's just so many different things that you can do. And look, I'm excited about this for a variety of reasons. I can't wait to see what happens. I also want to point out with Natalya being, coming back to WWE television, not only should they be putting her in prominent feuds, but I do like the idea of Natalya being utilized in NXT as well. And the main reason for that is because NXT has a new crop of women that are joining the company. Julia just joined. I would love to watch Julia and Natalya wrestle. Stephanie Vaquer as well, and then Delta coming in. There's just a plethora of women coming into the company, and I just think those are the things that matter the most. But it's all about balance. It's all about talent utilization. And, I think one of the things that becomes a little bit more confusing to me is how Natalya has been in the company for this long, and she re-signed with the company, and they can't seem to find a top spot for her. And I think that's kind of a letdown. I don't know how I feel about the women's division on Raw opposed to SmackDown. I think the rosters are pretty balanced. I think certain areas are booked a little bit better than others. And I'm hoping that WWE, with re-signing these talents and actually putting them on TV, I hope they find a way to do something more than just throwing them in like mixed tag matches or trios matches or something like that, because that seems to be like the big thing in WWE. I just want a little bit more of an importance for a lot of the talent there, and Natalya is one of them. I'm not saying she has to have a really long title match or title reign, but I would like to see more important matches, and that's really all that matters. Our final topic: Kiana James has been reportedly removed from the WWE active roster. This is where things get a little bit interesting because you got to be careful with the terms here. PW Insider has reported that Kiana James was pulled from WWE's active roster after not competing since June. Instead, she has been moved to WWE's miscellaneous section internally. Now, this is usually where WWE puts talent on when they are not able to perform. So whether that's due to an injury or someone like The Undertaker who's not really used, but sometimes they're utilized. There's really no reason as to why Kiana James has been removed from the active roster. There's some rumblings on social media. There's some things that are being said on social media that maybe Kiana James was removed because WWE is looking at relaunching her character and maybe coming up with different ideas for her gimmick and stuff. Now, I don't know if there's any credibility to those rumors. These are things that I'm just seeing being posted and posted and posted. I don't know if this means that Kiana James is it's at a dead end, right? A dead stop. And maybe that's a possibility. I think WWE is kind of in a weird spot because WWE is in a weird spot because they called her up, they drafted her, they put her on TV, you do the slow burn, but then they just stopped altogether. And I think when you're doing the slow burn, you don't necessarily need to stop, but by stopping, it kind of shows that you're not interested in pushing that person. And I think that's a little bit problematic. I think Kiana James is a hell of a talent. I thought she was great in NXT. You can't expect somebody from NXT to get over on the main roster right away. It takes time. And I think Bronson Reed's a good example of this. It took a little bit of time, but you kept utilizing Bronson Reed. You kept showing them in a dominant way. And then eventually people caught on and said, okay, we should take this guy seriously. I think the same should be applied to all of the members on the roster that came from NXT. But I do like Kiana James. I think she's great. I think she'll work out at some point. If there's any injuries or anything like that, I'll keep you guys updated. I know somebody mentioned on Twitter, and we're not speculating here, but I know somebody mentioned on Twitter, hey, typically this might happen if a talent is pregnant or if a talent is severely injured, whatever it may be. Obviously, we're not going to speculate on the reason that she's been removed from the roster, but we're going to assume, based on what we know at this point, that WWE made the decision to remove her from the active roster. And as of right now, there probably isn't a plan to utilize her until whatever is happening is resolved or, understood better. Anyways, guys, that's the Ango Show. Thank you for watching.